Hey, Shalom, Motb, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that's still teaching this truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes, and who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another quick lesson, and I pray this lesson will be edifying to the elect. And as you see on the title of this article, this is from businessstandard.com. All right, this was dated, let's see the date, March 8th, 2026. It says, China could see widespread use of brain-computer tech in 3 to 5 years. All right, let's read that again. China could see widespread use of brain-computer tech in 3 to 5 years. All right, and what is brain-computer tech talking about? It's talking about RFID microchips. Okay, and beginning with the apostles of Great Millstone on down, the apostles, bishops, and elders on down. All right, we have been warning that this is the next step and the next phase of what they want to do on a global scale. Okay, so you have Israelites. All right, Israelite groups that are telling you that the RFID microchip is not the mark of the beast, and they're not warning their congregations in regarding to it. But when that time comes down, and we're here, man, you see all this hell and all this turmoil taking place within the Middle East. All this is being set up for a systematic economic collapse. Okay, especially if the wars continue and the Strait of Hormuz, continues to be blocked off and oil is not being moved. All right, that could usher in an economic collapse, which would at that point bring about a great reset, which is ultimately what the elite want to do. Okay, and as we already know the scripture, this is Revelation 13 and 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay, this is the next step of what they want to do. All right, and you clearly seen in the article, China could see widespread use of brain-computer tech in 3 to 5 years. Now let's do this real quick. As I'm driving, I want to see if I can maybe listen to the page.
China could see widespread use of brain-computer tech in 3 to 5 years. Published by Business Standard. Beijing elevated BCIs to a core future strategic industry in its new 5-year plan released this week, placing it alongside sectors such as quantum, embodied AI, 6G, and nuclear fusion.
See that? It says, it mentions quantum, embodied AI, 6G, and nuclear fusion. Okay, and that's why they're building, a lot of these 6G towers to be able to, pretty much to tie all the data in together. Okay.
A national BCI development strategy released,
which BCI means brain computer I think it's brain computer interface or brain chip interface. I believe it's brain computer interface, if I'm not mistaken.
Last year aims for major technical breakthroughs by 2027 and for China to cultivate 2 or 3 world-class firms by 2030.
And it said by 2030, and that's what you hear about Agenda 2030, which it looks like they're moving a lot faster than 2030 at this point. The scripture says in Revelation 12 that the devil shall come down with great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay, so it looks like they're ushering in and moving in this new system very, very quickly. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's get another precept on this real quick, because these things are already set in motion. The global elite already have these plans already set up. All right, this is Micah 2:1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. You see, so when the morning is light, all right, pretty much when they have the opportunity to do it, they practice it or they do it. They devise the iniquity already. They devise their plans. That's why they call it Agenda 2030. When something's an agenda, it's already set in motion. It's already set in place. They just have to play out. They pretty much have to plan out the right kind of crises and events that are already scheduled and staged. All right, throughout the world for them to usher in their enterprise. You see, but the scriptures talk about how matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Enterprise. I think that's Job 5. Yep. Job chapter 5, verse 12. It says he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right, and their enterprise ultimately is to microchip everybody. That word perform is Aisha. It's the same word as practice in Micah 2, which means to do or to fashion. All right. And that word enterprise is thawashia. All right. So that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. It says of the effect of sound wisdom, abiding success. So you see, in the abiding success that they're not going to be able to perform is by mass microchipping everybody. Now they are going to microchip a large portion of people, but they're not going to be able to microchip everybody. You see, the elect are not going to be chipped. Okay, and you're going to have particular individuals that are going to rebel against this technology. So it says of the effect of sound wisdom, abiding success for the combination of meanings. It says to achieve success. You see, and once again, what's the main success that they want to achieve? The main success that they want to achieve is by what? Tag, tracing, and marking everybody on the planet Earth. That's why the scriptures call it the hour of temptation that will come upon the whole world. Okay, the whole world in an oikonomeny sense. All right, bear with me one moment. All right, so lock it for that. I had to get some gas. It's crazy how this gas is going up, man. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I had to put way more money in my tank now than versus if last week. But anyways, they're wanting to chip the world, all right, in an oikonomeny sense, and that's why the hour of temptation is going to be something that's going to be worldwide. It's going to affect everybody, and you clearly see that they're leading up. They have the event set in place where they're leading and they're squeezing, all right, everybody into this new system. Okay, and once again, this war that broke out, which is biblical, which is prophetic. All right, this war that broke out in the Gulf States region, in Levant, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, between Iran, Israel, the United States. You got Saudi Arabia getting involved. You have Qatar involved. You have Russia and China that's getting involved. EU nations and NATO nations that are getting involved. So this is all in a combination to World War III, as it's written about in Revelation, the 11th chapter. But before World War III ignites into things that are going to be nuclear, all right, and America's completely destroyed and Israel's completely destroyed, all right, the Motb has to fully be enacted first. Okay, so let's go back here.
China could see brain-computer interface, BCI, technology move into practical public use within 3 to 5 years as products mature, a leading BCI expert said, as Beijing races to catch up with U.S. startups including Elon Musk's Neuralink.
See that? So it's a race. All right, it's really a race to see who can set up this AI infrastructure the fastest. The fastest, I'd rather say. And that's why America right now is a leading in the world when it comes down to these data centers. And these various different data centers that are set up take immense amounts of energy, immense amounts of water, immense amounts of electricity, which is why you have a lot of these individuals whose electric bills are skyrocketing, man. Due to these different data centers that are being built. You see, and these data centers are going to hold a lot of it's going to hold a lot of data. That's what they call data centers. Pretty much hold a lot of data when it comes down to, these people's information for the chip. Okay, this is why AI is on the rise.
Beijing elevated BCIs to a core future strategic industry in its new 5-year plan released this week, placing it alongside sectors such as quantum, embodied AI, 6G, and nuclear fusion. New policies will not change things overnight. I think after another 3 to 5 years, we will gradually see some BCI products moving towards actual practical service for the public, said.
You see, a practical service for the public, so it's going to be something that's going to be in public use. And all these various different nations are in on it. Okay, China's in on it, America's in on it. Russia, Russia's in on it. Okay, all these nations are in on it. Okay, because this is the plan of the global elite. Apostle Gabar mentions the interview all the time. It was Alex Jones. I was interviewing Alex Russo, which Alex Russo was he one of his close friends was one of the Rothschilds, or excuse me, Rockefeller, excuse me. And he said that he wanted to their goal was to mass microchip everybody. That's their goal. Which is what's written about in Revelation the 13th chapter. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard to see. But it is hard to see for those that aren't meant to get it. And there's other camps that know what it is. Like Bishop Nathaniel, we believe he knows what it is. Okay, we believe that General Yohana knows what it is, but they got paid off to tell their congregation that it's not the that it's not the RFID microchip, and that is sin, or it's sleeping with white women and all this BS and all this madness that they talk about. Continuing on.
Yao Dezong, director of the Sichuan Institute of Brain Science, in an interview on Saturday on the sidelines of China's annual parliament meetings in Beijing. Trials. A national BCI development strategy released last year aims for major technical breakthroughs by 2027 and for China to cultivate 2 or 3 world-class firms by 2030. China is the second country to launch invasive BCI human trials. More than 10 trials are active, matching the U.S., while scientists plan to enroll more than 50 patients nationwide this year. Recent high-profile trials have enabled paralyzed patients and amputees to regain partial mobility and operate robotic hands or intelligent wheelchairs.
You see that, and that goes to the so-called miracles. All right, that they will be able to be deceived with, pretty much, and that's mainly with the whole, the brain-computer interface, and Neuralink, and which Neuralink, Neuralink is one of many different companies and firms, all right, that they're using. All right, this is not just Neuralink. There's way more, but what the brain computer interface is going to do is going to be able to, as we read, cause particular individuals who could be blind to be able to see, or those who could have a missing limb, whether it be a missing leg or a missing arm, and they have a robotic leg, a robotic arm set in place for them to be able to think it and be able to cause their limbs to move. People who could be deaf, causing them to hear. These are the pseudo miracles, all right, that Esau is setting up. And this is, matter of fact, let me get it real quick because I mentioned it. Let me just get it. This is Revelation 13, and 1 second here. Yep. Revelation 13 and 13, it says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. And this is going into his pretty much his military industrial complex, the establishment of NATO, and their first wars, like the wars in Kosovo. You can also think about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. You see, so this goes into those miracles, causing the lame, causing the lame to walk, and the blind to see, and the deaf to hear. See, he's always trying to do something on the left hand side, because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, these things happen on the right hand side. Yahweh Shai did those things, so and we're going to do those things too. You know, Yahweh Shai said it. He said pretty much the miracles that he did, we're going to do greater. But Esau is wanting to counteract that on the left-hand side. You know, when you get that word miracles, all right, those miracles, that word is semion. Okay. And it says here, it says of miracles and wonders by which the Most High authenticates the men sent by him, talking about the actual prophets, the actual men that the Lord set up, or by which men prove that the cause they are pleading is the Most High's. But when you go down here, it says by which men are deceived, is ascribed also to false teachers, false prophets, and to demons. See that? So they're going to try to bring forth these pseudo miracles, you know, in the guise of, you know, technology, in the guise of the microchip, especially with the one that's going to be implanted in the brain. You know, because most people are going to get the ones that they're going to have in their hands, so that they're going to be able to buy and sell and swipe their hands across, you know, the reader to be able to buy, and pretty much that's going to have all their information on it. That's going to be the main way that people are going to get chipped. Is going to be via their hands. You know what I'm saying? Hands, plural, whether it's the right hand or the left. All right.
The government has already integrated some BCI treatments into national medical insurance in a few pilot provinces, and the domestic market is projected to reach 5.58 billion yuan, $809 a euro only by 2027, according to CCID Consulting. China has many advantages in BCIs, such as its huge population, enormous patient demand, cost-effective industrial chain, and abundant pool of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths talent, said Yao, who also leads a key neuroinformatics research center under China's Science and Technology Ministry. Policies such as insurance integration and national standards aim to close the huge gap between scientific research, industry, and clinical applications, he said. The path from experimental to clinical trials is quite long, and this remains a problem, he told Reuters, adding that many Chinese hospitals have established BCI research labs to speed up the process. While U.S. startups like Neuralink focus on invasive chips that penetrate brain tissue, Chinese researchers are developing invasive, semi-invasive, and non-invasive BCIs with wider potential clinical use. Semi-invasive BCIs, placed on the brain's surface, may lose some signal quality but reduce risks such as tissue damage and other post-surgery complications. Neuralink's surgical robot can insert hundreds of electrodes into the brain in minutes. This is a technical advantage, which I think is remarkable, said Yao, of Neuralink. But China is actually making very fast progress in this area now. In fact, Musk's direction is basically achievable domestically.
See that? So, you know, they're moving quickly with it. You know, and once again, this is going to be something that's going to be worldwide, as we see China, you know, seeing widespread use of brain-computer technology in 3 to 5 years. So we here, man. You know, while these different camps ain't telling you what the mark of the beast is, we're letting you know here at Great Millstone, you know, beginning with the apostles on down, you know, what it is. You know, so I pray this lesson was edifying to the elect. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that taught us the truth and also teaching this truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Until next time, Lord willing, I say shalom.